Peace to you all, family, and today we're going to explore, the poverty in the world and how is this a result of religio mind state, and mind control, ignorance, indoctrination, all types of courses. Yeah, we're gonna just check up some videos. We're gonna check in Africa. The poverty seems to be going on forever. You know what I'm saying? This is war. 2 years ago, that first video, that next video, 8 months ago, 9 years ago, these dudes in there, all these kids over there were still poor. Then you have another guy here, African, saying religion being used to keep Africans poor. You see that? You see that? Many of them know what's up. And surviving the streets of Africa, life in the slums, poverty documentary. You know what I'm saying? Major reasons religion is #1 cause of poverty in Africa. Reverend Walter Mbawambas. Uh-oh. People, they know what's up with all the poverty plan, which is all a script from day one, people. And they keep these kids and all this population in the dark, in the poverty, man. Africa is not poor because of colonization. Let's see what they talk about here.
Hi, my name is Vin, and I teach public speaking, and I teach people how to.
Well, you list here in one of your articles where you make reference to these rating systems, the bottom 10 countries for doing business in the world: Chad, Haiti, Central African Republic, Congo Democratic Republic, South Sudan, Libya, Yemen, Venezuela. There's a lovely example: Eritrea and Somalia. And so there are 3 exceptions in the African ecosystem: Mauritius, Rwanda, Kenya, South Africa, Botswana, and Zambia. You pointed out in your prospectus, is it prospectus article?
Yeah, prospectus article of Artbridge Institute.
Right, that Mauritius is a rising star, and Rwanda is in some ways comparable to Georgia. So some of these countries have started to get this right.
Yes.
And so what's the consequence of that? And what does right mean?
What they have understood, what these countries have understood, is that economic freedom is at the center for prosperity building. Rwanda, for example, Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda, is explicit about it. He said he wants to be the Lee Kuan Yew he wants to be the Singapore of Africa, and Lee Kuan Yew is his model. Now, the dirty mouths are gonna start shouting, "Oh yeah, see, authoritarian, blah, blah, blah." Whatever. Me, I want to talk only about the on the economic side. If you take Lee Kuan Yew and Singapore as your example, then it means that, like him, you're going to have to be serious about economic freedom. And that's exactly what he did. That's what Singapore did. When Singapore figured that out, they went on to put in the right reforms to make their environment some of the most business-friendly environments in the world, one of the most free markets environment in the world, and you saw the magic of Singapore. Today, Singapore is richer than its ex-colonizer, Great Britain. So when I hear people telling me today, "Oh, Africa is poor because of colonization," I'm like, please, let's move on from that. Does it have maybe a tiny percentage in where we are today? Maybe, and I don't know. But I know
what you gotta understand is that the colonization has not stopped. They are still colonized, and they are right, because they are behind, because they are colonized minds, colonized souls, colonized states from the damn religio.
Because if it were, many countless countries have been colonized before, and by the way, colonizing one another is humanity's history. It just happened that maybe Africa has been one of the last,
Who told you that colonizing one another is humanity history, or is this history? No, this is his stories, okay? Because when we look back in the past, there was nobody going around colonizing. They were building beautiful stuff that you can't build today. So all that bullshit is fake history, people. Yeah, they already been colonized. They colonized minds. You see that? Thinking that the colonization is something normal. Are you kidding me?
Colonized region in the
Hell
world.
no.
So in our psyche, it is there and it acts like nothing happened before to others. But flash news, it's the history of the world. We've been capturing each other back and forth, all of that. So anyway, but the truth is, Singapore, richer than Great Britain today. And then Hong Kong
why
happened.
Africa not?
And then because Hong Kong happened, China even today happened. Because China's like, wait a minute, what went on over there? And then China went on to do the exact same thing with its SEZs, the special economic zones, some of the most free market zones in the world.
what's up
and
with
then
Africa?
look at it happen in communist China, who, when it comes to economics, decided that we're going to do the free market, we're going to be capitalist, because that's the only way. We tried everything else. We killed hundreds of millions of people, and we have nothing to show for it. But now that we're tired of being disrespected members of society, because guess what? That's the other thing too.
But
You wanna be respected in this world.
Africans, well, killed a lot of millions of people, and they have nothing to show for it either. So, you know, what is going on with the Africans?
You're going to have to be among the prosperous ones for other reasons. Would it be nice, G, that we respect people just because? Absolutely. But that's really not the world we live in. So when China got tired of being disrespected, they're like, maybe we got to build also some prosperity here because then they're going to hear us. And today, China, being one of the, being where it is at, even Hollywood, who tries to tell the world how to think, is being told by China what movies to make and how to tweak stories and history in order to be palatable for them. You see the power that comes with being prosperous.
So why are the Africans not prosperous and deciding all of that? Why they always in the tail of taking orders and being told what to do and taking juices?
Consumer price index has reached yet another 40-year high, and the latest GDP numbers confirm that the United States is in a recession. Now is not the time to have all your money in the stock market or tied to the U.S. dollar. Protect your savings from a highly turbulent economy by diversifying at least some of your investment portfolio into gold and silver from Birch Gold Group. Text Jordan to 989898, and Birch Gold will send you a free information kit on how to transition an IRA or eligible 401k into an IRA in precious metals. Birch Gold will even...
I had enough. Hold on.
A hat I wear, working with free market think tanks to try to make it easier for local entrepreneurs to join in the party. Additionally, I'm going bold, I'm going radical. For the past few years, we've been advocating an idea for Africa that found some of its roots in Latin America. And again, I'm related to the people who are involved in this. My husband being one of the key figures in this movement. A movement called the Charter Cities. Paul Romer calls it like that. He's a Nobel laureate in economics. Others call it the Free Cities. I like to call it the Startup Cities. So the best way to think about it, Jordan, and it goes back to what you were talking about earlier when you use the word operating software. Most of the poor, most of the low-income nations, back in the days, the way we used to call it is poor nations, they have regulations for poverty. They're basically regulated for poverty, meaning the laws, the set of law, poverty. It only calls poverty. And so what some of these folks have thought about, looking at the Dubai example.
So they are regulated for poverty. You hear what she said? They are regulated, the rules keep them in poverty. Go on.
Dubai just recently entered the top 10 of international financial centers of the world. And what Dubai did at some point is think about it and be like, on this bare, sand, plot of sand that's technically worth nothing right now as is, this 110 acres of land, sand everywhere. They're like, well, maybe Sharia law is not the best for business. We got to think about better set of laws for business. We're talking only about business, not family law, not anything else but business. And they decided there's got to be something better. And so they looked around, and that's actually when, to take one of the terms you used earlier, they're starting to realize, common law is actually a better way for business, specifically British common law. So at that point, and I'm oversimplifying here because otherwise we can totally geek out on it. Remember, this is like one of my latest things that I've been involved in, but latest, it's been the past 10 years,
What
and
will
I'm
they
going to
use?
share with you a win. So Dubai is like, we have to adopt British, common law, primarily British common law. We're going to hire retired British common law judges to come and educate the law here, train our own people, and that, along with many other reforms, to also become a top center when it comes to the and in the free market when it comes to the finances. Dubai.
Yeah, well, that British common law system. So it's very, very interesting theologically and metaphysically. So it's predicated on the idea that every individual has all the rights that there are, except for those that are specifically regulated and limited by legal necessity. And then generally that realm of necessity has emerged only as a consequence of disputes between people. So you're free to do whatever you want unless you have a dispute with someone else. Then the dispute is adjudicated according essentially to constitutional and theological
No, we have
principles.
to have a look at what he's saying is real, okay? But you have to understand something. When it comes to common law, is about, you're going to have the rights unless you have conflict with someone. But this law was not created, from the original point of view. This law is Anglo-Saxon. Don't forget that it comes from Anglo-Saxon, so it doesn't come from the main originals of the land. Yeah, so they have to assign to some type of right. Understand that? You have to understand that law is mostly granting rights to them as if they are a living man, most of them will call. But when you say living man, it doesn't mean the original man, does it? But so this law was created for this, basically, mostly for aliens that that walked around and they had rights to move around and do things. Unless they came in conflict with someone, then this law will settle some type of court settlement or something to come to a common standing. You know what I'm saying? But it's not something that is original. And these guys are just assuming this law all the way in Dubai, in the middle of the desert. It's got nothing to do with that or nothing. But okay, let's see. It's a comedy.
And then a precedent is established. Then the whole body of law built up that body of precedents.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's bottom up, not top down.
It's totally
And
that.
English common law is a gift from God, man.
No.
It's something else.
Absolutely.
From
And
the
that's the
originals.
key word there when you said bottom up. So common law is so much better for bottom up approaches. And we all know that markets work better in a bottom up approach. And also, when they have to educate the law and resolve a dispute, they're going to be much more respectful to the contract that was passed between the two parties than, say, civil law would be. Right? And so anyway, so from this standpoint here, you have Dubai who is now trying to put all of this together, and eventually they put a set of laws together that would now be conducive to being a top international financial center in the world. And voila, in less than a
So
generation.
we are in
in less
2024, people, and they now are establishing that. Can you believe that? After all this time, these dudes are just now coming into this common law understanding. And before that, they were living what? Devil's law? What? Civil law? The Religio law? That's it? That's what's up with the poverty.
5 years, Dubai, completely unrecognizable.
You see that? The difference? The law changed the place? That's what they do. Let's check another video, man. Too many ads in there. You know what I'm saying? What about this other first video over there? Let's just have a look.
Van Ruhi Chenet here. We are in Burundi, which has been chosen as per the analysis reports of the World Bank, IMF, and many other official institutions as the poorest country in the world almost every year in the last 62 years. The country has a population of approximately 12.5 million and its people live in such great poverty that it is also known as the unhappiest country in the world, and the annual income of the average working citizen is approximately 180 US dollars. Although the unemployment rate in the country is not known, 1 out of every 3 people is thought to be unemployed. Imagine that if you are lucky to be able to work day and night, your monthly salary is only $15 and you have to support a family of 8. Welcome to the world's poorest and unhappiest country. When we landed at Bujumbura International Airport, the only airport in the country with asphalt runway, we were very surprised when we looked at the information display. They were using the demo version of the operating system to avoid paying a fee. At the scene of an accident that we saw on our way to the hotel, a group of children were standing around the dog that had been hit by a car. The Republic of Burundi, the heart of Africa.
What? God damn.
Located in the Great Rift Valley, where East Africa meets the African Great Lakes. The surface area of the country is only 27,834 kilometers square, although almost everyone is engaged in agriculture. For this reason, this geography, which has many mountainous areas, is unfortunately not enough to feed 12.5 million people. The most populous city, Bujumbura, has a population of 380,000 people. We are in the Buterere district in the center. The first striking detail is that there are children everywhere. The kids of the neighborhood are busy fishing. 65% of the country's population is under the age of 25 and 45% is under the age of 15. Only 3% are 65 years old or older. They don't have many toys to play with. There are children spinning a tire with a stick, playing board games with beer caps, making toy cars out of plastic bottles, and playing football with a hollow tire. According to the United Nations data published 10 years ago, the average life expectancy of the people was about 49 years. Since only 7.6% of the population have access to electricity, there are phone charging points in many neighborhoods. Although the year 2021 is behind, most people in this country still do not use smartphones. Even the informational footages on the airplanes show images of old technologies. We are in a rice field in Buterere. Here are the farmers that try to feed Bujumbura city.
This is the place Bujumbura gets the rice from.
About 86% of the country consists of rural areas like this one. Almost 90% of the entire population's job is farming. We are on the move to see the home of an average farmer in the poorest country in the world.
80% is a rural. My goodness.
Almost everyone is a farmer.
Let's go. They're fine.
And these are just
There are
taking a
homeless
piece.
people who have no choice but to get wet when it rains. We see a child taking a shower, taking advantage of the rainwater.
Hello. We can get in the house.
This is their house.
Yeah, this
Just
their
one
house.
room?
There are 8 people living in this house. It means 80 children, 2 parents. This is their bed. This one.
So they just,
Just,
spread
yeah,
it and sleep on it.
and they sleep on it. So they have another one. This is for children. So 80 children sleep on this.
Oh,
They took it from the garbage there.
these old 8 children belongs to her.
8 children belong to
Yeah. What is his name? How old is John?
58. He's a farmer.
How much does he earn per month?
Guys, wait. Important message.
It doesn't
First of
earn
all, I'm
enough,
Rory
people.
Reid, and you're watching
You know what I'm
Auto
saying?
Trader. Here's why you need to subscribe.
So, yes.
How old is the eldest son?
Uwambere afise imyaka
What does he do now?
He has gone to garbages to collect different things.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah,
What does he want to say to the camera?
ngo icya gatatu urabona ukuntu baturagenda mu ishyamba uza guhangayika tukaronka ibijumba umugore nawe aza gutora amakara yarara rero barapfuye kwe bariho
How are you a farmer and you can find nothing to eat? What in the hell is going on, people?
imyaka 9 ubundi imyaka 7.
tubagire neza mwana uyu muryango uhezagire in the name of Jesus urakoze kubikoze mu izina rya Yesu.
John, who plants beans, is trying to take care of his family on a revenue of $10 a month. And all 10 members of the family sleep on the floor in the same room. They do not even have electricity in their homes. But John's situation is still better than the most other people we will be seeing shortly.
God damn.
It is possible to come across people everywhere in Burundi,
In
which is
your
the second
own
most
land,
densely
you're living like
populated
that.
country in Africa. There are 451 people per 1 square kilometer, and more than 70% of these people live below the poverty line. 1 out of every 20 people dies from malnutrition or starvation.
See that?
Currently, $1 is equivalent to approximately 2,000 Burundian francs. However, it is almost impossible to buy dollars at this price. One can provide some dollars from the black market, and $1 is converted to about 3,000 Burundian francs. So according to this, their most valuable banknote, 10,000 francs, is about 3.3 US dollars. As today's technology is lacking in Burundi, the jobs that exist in other countries don't exist here. We are on our way to conduct interviews with professionals from various classes of society, including policemen or carpenter. A person who owns a bicycle is considered to have a profession in Burundi. These people try to hold on to life by carrying the products from the farmers to the markets.
How far does he carry this load?
One time they might go and
30.
get back around
Oh my
9
goodness.
hours. They went at 4 a.m.
They are barefoot. They don't
What
feel
the-
pain in their
They,
feet.
in fact, they are taking them from another province, countryside. They earn 3,000 per day, approximately 90 cents.
They are
What?
good then compared to the other guys.
Yeah, but they work hard. Imagine riding from one province to another, lot
Wow.
of kilometers, many hours. They
And
also
these
pay tax.
dudes, man, have the nerve to talk about slavery when slavery is going on in Africa. Do you see what's going on in there? You see these niggas carrying carrying stuff like cows and animals in the bike with no shoe, man. This is crazy.
That's
Bare feet, torn clothes. These cyclists, who have to take care of a family with many children by earning 90 cents a day, risk their lives by traveling sometimes 100 to 150 kilometers between cities for 10 to 12 hours every day. 200 kilograms load pushes bikes down at a speed of 70 to 80 kilometers per hour. Failure of the brakes against sudden pedestrians, vehicles or road bands, or tire bursts can lead to terrible results. In the struggle for survival, people pushing their bikes uphill hold on to back of passing trucks to save energy and time. Some cyclists, on the other hand, cannot find something to hold on. They hang on the bike in front and the accidents are inevitable. According to the Highway Authority, there are about 12,000 kilometers of roads in Burundi,
Wow.
but only 14% of it is asphalt. There are people washing their bikes in the puddle of mud that formed after the rain.
What?
Some
Wow.
people dry their rain-soaked clothes on an electrical transmission tower on the street because they don't have a home. We are at the meeting and eating point of cyclists
Wow.
on a highway.
what is that? This is sweet potato, 100 Burundian francs.
How much does she earn per month?
5,000 Burundian francs, which is around $1.5.
How does she get by?
And there are kids that are helping them selling mushrooms and whatever.
Mushrooms. They're not growing shit.
The husband abandoned her.
Does she have any children who passed away?
Yeah, one kid, 3 years. One egg is 500. The benefit for one egg is 100.
How much is one bowl?
One plate is 500. They earn 2,000 per day. So they use 1,000 for food. They save 1,000 to pay the rent at the end of the month.
They usually consume potatoes and beans as their food sources of energy are very limited. Begging is very common among people, whether they have a job or not. Some people from an early age seek help as soon as they see a friend.
Our car has broken again. People just ask money from us.
The tree prevented the car from falling off the cliff. Look.
Oh my.
Those who do not own a bicycle carry the bananas or other loads on their heads day and night to earn 50 cents a day, sometimes walking barefoot and transport them from the villages to cities kilometers away. These lives who walk from one city to another on foot exhaust their bodies and health on these roads. At their last
This
stop,
is
Bujumbura
crazy,
City
man.
Market, most products are sold directly from the farm
What
as there
the-
is not enough technology to process or package the products. Hello.
You know, these are the people who transport for other people. Like we can get 1,000.
Really? In this market, which is the largest shopping center in the country, there is not much except food. They call this place Kotebu. Some people don't like the camera here. They are not used to it. This place is full of people. We are on our way to Gitega, the country's second largest city and capital, with a population of 135,000.
See you guys. If we can take a limited time, not more than 5 minutes.
Too bad, people. I heard enough.
Not cause troubles.
Political turbulence reigns in every corner of the country. Our driver is wearing a jacket today and has a Bible on the front console.
This is too sad, people. They have no means. You can see they live like, in the middle of nowhere with no means of anything. You know what I'm saying? But these people are going to help them with the juice.
To skip the police checkpoints. Police checkpoints here starts with a stretch rope across. According to our guide, these people are from the youth branches of the leading party and they block the road to do identity checks. Our driver presents documents at the checkpoint to the police, but they say that our car will be towed away since there's a crack in the windshield. The driver calmly negotiates with the police and pays a bribe of 5,000 Burundian francs, which is about $1.6.
Akira. Just for the camera. Which one you know?
Akira.
He sows the wood.
How much does he earn a month?
kwezi ntumbuye ndashaka kuronka ibihumbi 50 cyangwa 30.
I think we should help him.
icyo ngomba kushyikiza
I want to say something.
urakoze kugira ngaho nk'umutahe wo kurangura urubaho.
Thank you. This is the investment you give me. I will buy 2 woods so that my job continues.
Imana iguha umugisha.
Wewe ukora iki?
How much does he earn per month?
$10.
And he carries people.
Yeah, motor taxi.
We took one of the police officers in the car to understand how they, who are civil servants, make both ends meet when they don't ask anybody.
$10 a day, people. I'm out. This is sad and crazy. How can you have a country and live like that? I don't get money. And these dudes are just taking a piss. Because, this is crazy, man. Yeah, they always lie to them. Come out here talking about Africans, these Africans that...
The Bible is now the greatest instrument in creating false industries in the continent of Africa. And that is not to be celebrated. It is to be frowned upon. And we who claim to be Christians, and I normally use this very deliberately, we claim to be Christians. As to whether we are is another debate. We'll only discover that a little later when we are in heaven. And therefore, when we talk about rediscovering, we are saying that it was once discovered. But let us situate the Bible in its proper place. Christianity as we know it today in the continent of Africa was midwifed to us in the continent through Europe. through the missionaries. When they came, they were reading the very same Bible that we are reading today. When they sat in Berlin and were dividing the continent of Africa, they were reading the same Bible that we are reading today. The same Bible in which, in Paul's letter to the Galatians at chapter 3:28, he says, there are no Jews, no Gentiles, no slave, no free, no woman, no man. They read that verse. It was not interpolated later after they came. They read it. But they came here and conquered us. They came here and discriminated against us. The same Bible. They were being mentored by that very same Bible. They came here when they had divided the body of Christ. The English had appropriated the religion in 1534, and they now had their Anglican church complete with the monarch as its head. The Scots had appropriated their own, and they had the Presbyterian church. The Greeks had their Greek Orthodox. The Armenians, the Armenian Orthodox. The Roman Catholics were even bolder. They called it the Roman Catholic Church. So that even when they are in Uganda, it's not Ugandan Catholic Church, it is the Roman Catholic Church. And you are going there and you are saying you are Roman Catholic Church. In apartheid South Africa, they are the Dutch Reformed Church, which became the foundation stone upon which apartheid was articulated in 1948 by Hendrik Verwoerd and his cohorts. So the Bible has been misused. Don't be cheated. Let's not be nice to each other because we are Christians. The Bible has been misused. It has been used to support slavery. It has been used to support colonization. It has been used to pervert the truth. That is the Bible that we are saying we ought to rediscover. So when we are gathered here as Christians and we are talking about rediscovery of mentorship in the Bible, we must have a spirit that is a questioning spirit. When His Grace was preaching to us, he said, we must always be nice before we are good. Not always. And I've always talked about two approaches to be found in the Bible. One is of John the Baptist and Herodias. It's a dangerous path where you go out into the public and condemn evil. The only thing that you must know is that when you follow that path, Salome will ask for your head. But there are circumstances when it is necessary. Then there are circumstances when it is necessary to follow the path that His Grace has suggested. Read the conversation between Nathan and David and what he did to the wife of Prophet Uriah. He comes and tells him, in this place there was a person who had a lamb. Circumstances define which method you use. And in a forum such as this, we now live in a world where as Christians we are also very pretentious. We don't speak the truth as it ought to be spoken.
Okay, I heard you. As you can see, this man exposing the whole African planet and why they never, why they're not going to be pulled up from slavery and poverty. Okay, the title is religion has been used to manipulate Africans into poverty, which is true. Yeah, but even though he talks about themselves being being Christians, which means I don't know if he's still half asleep or if he just wants the message to go through, so he's speaking in this third person. But what I'm telling you is that they know that the religion is what keeps them slaves, what keeps them in poverty and everything. But what have they done about that? They got all this stuff going on in Africa. All this poverty I showed you guys is like stuff that you can not even internalize, that this shit can be happening today. Yeah? And you be asking, what have these niggas been doing all the time to end up like that? I mean, what in the hell? But here we go. They got everything upside down. They worshiping alien gods in their own land, still calling themselves Christians and worshiping Satan. What do you expect? You're a Hamite, you're supposed to be a curse.
Read the Bible sometimes as a Christian, I ask myself, what kind of Christian would I be? I often ask myself, if I lived in the days of Jesus, which of these disciples would I be? Because let us ask ourselves, when were we first called Christians? In fact, if you read the Bible and the history of Christianity and how we were first called Christians in Antioch, it was not a badge of honor to be called a Christian.
All that Religio history, man. Where is your story? You have no history at all, other than this Religio telling you your own history, and then putting all these churches in your land, and then telling you who you are, that you are Christian. So you forgot who you are, where you came from, you forgot your ancestors, and it's all about the damn church.
Badge of honor. It was a statement that these individuals who follow somebody whom we do not respect, whose ideas we do not respect, then we embraced it. But do we question that as Christians when we are reading the Bible?
They never ever question the stuff they believe. Don't forget, they still in the belief. And you see the poverty that is around them.
Read the Bible. Many of us who make the claim that we are Christians are not good Bible readers, despite your best efforts and best intentions. I normally ask this test question to my audience rather lately, and I'll test it this morning to determine how effectively you read the Bible. When you read the book of Isaiah, chapter 6, it says that in the year that King Uzziah died, the Lord appeared unto Isaiah the son of Amos. Then I ask Christians, and who is King Uzziah? They do not know. They have never read about him in the Chronicles because they are satisfied with what they are preached to and about. Christians don't read the Bible.
Little slaves.
They read sections of the Bible.
They
and one of the
believe the
instruments that has now made Christians not read the Bible is social media. They Google a particular section. Your Grace, you'll see if you are from the pulpit occasionally, most of your congregation are not looking at you when you are preaching the word. They are under the table. Many times you read the word and they are looking for it as if it never existed. That is the kind of Christians that we have today, claiming to be Christians. And if they claim to be Christians and you want them to rediscover mentorship from the Bible, how can they be mentored by something whose contents they do not know? I remember when we were baptized.
Shit, man.
Watch how this device can save your life. Meet
Come
Alex, an enthusiastic
But y'all see what's going on with these Christians in Africa and the poverty. Well, it's killing them. Yeah. It's a poverty, people. It's a curse of Ham that is going down. They're dying like all the time. Every year is the same. You know what I'm saying? They're always poor, despite all the stuff they claim. That you see that children all poor, dying with nothing. people dying of anger and in need of all things. Look at these kids, need of all things, people. Africa is not poor. Are you kidding me? Okay, let's close with that.
I was baffled by how often Americans expected me to be able to talk about my experience with poverty, because they automatically assumed that to be African was to be poor.
Hello and welcome to the Africa News Network.
I came to the US to flee the study of medicine, and shortly after I arrived, I realized that for many Americans, an African immigrant was a person who was fleeing catastrophe, war, or extreme poverty. Someone who grew up with nothing or whose village had been burned down. I was baffled by how often Americans expected me to be able to talk about my experience with poverty, because they automatically assumed that to be African was to be poor. I was baffled by how often Americans expected me to be able to talk about my experience with poverty, because they automatically assumed that to be African was to be poor. The story of catastrophe and poverty in Africa is very important, and it should be told. But it is not my story, and it is not the only story of Africa. Shortly after my first novel was published, an American professor told me that my novel was not authentically African. Now, I was perfectly willing to accept that there were a number of things wrong with the novel, but I had not quite imagined that it had failed at achieving something called African authenticity. In fact, I did not know what African authenticity was.
Of course not, because they were Christians.
The professor told me that my characters were middle class. They drove cars. They were not starving. Therefore, they were not the real Africa. He was an American who felt he could decide what the real Africa was. Because my book did not fit into his single story of Africa, he had decided that it was inauthentic. I wondered what he would say if somebody told him that the story of his life in a middle-class American suburb was not the real America, because it was not about food deserts in the inner city or malnourished children.
Okay, what you have to understand from all that, people, because I don't really know this lady, and I don't know, what he's on about, but he's on about that they don't recognize them about what they are, but this is, of course, the curse. If you're going to be playing to Jesus, you have no right to describe yourself. You have no culture. You don't know what Africa is. You can describe what is African and what is not. Because everything that happens there, it comes from Jesus, not from you, not from your ancestors, not from your history, not from nothing. It's coming from the church. Yeah, and it's the church dudes that live in America that is going to determine what is African and what is not. And you're still wondering why? Because your people worship their God. Sellouts.
This is how to create a single story.
That's what happens, man.
Show people
your people
as
worshiping them.
As only one thing over and over again.
Get ready to be told what to do.
We must seek the higher ground of multiple stories, many stories, as a way of reminding ourselves of our common humanity. We are unfamiliar with one another, I think, because we are unfamiliar with the stories of one another. There is a particular...
How are you going to be unfamiliar with the stories of one another when Africans worship the Bible? They should be, for at least how long since they're slaves, since they've been colonized, they worship the Bible. They should be familiar with what this is all about. But as the guy told you before, the Africans don't know how to read the Bible. They don't know how to read. People don't read the Bible for what it is. They don't know what it's saying there. They can translate. They can understand what the book is saying. Instead of so they just believe and worship the God, and then be all surprised about the effect that this leaves them in the world, because nobody will respect a cursed of Ham, dude. Nobody gonna invest in somebody that is cursed. So you left with the curse of Ham. As long as you pretend you love this book, you finished. That's what's up.
validation and joy and pleasure that comes from reading stories that are about our own particular experiences, and nobody should ever be denied that. But it is as important that we read stories that are not about our own particular experiences.
Like
A student once asked me, will you always write about Nigeria, or will you write about more normal things? And what struck me was that he had a sense of what was normal, and Nigeria was not part of this normal. This student was not evil. He meant well. But we can mean well and be wrong. Economic superiority is a fact of our existence, but it can also sometimes give birth to a certain kind of casual.
It's not just economical superiority going on. It's that a country like Nigeria, that don't proud themselves in their own country, not only Nigerian, but I'm talking about like 90% of Africa don't give a shit about their country, and see themselves inferior to anyone that comes there. They bow down, they take cheap deals, you know what I'm saying? They let motherfucker tell them what to do. They take juices and everything, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, they got all these religions in there that destroy their culture, destroy their land, destroy who they are, create a mix of them fallen angels, a mix of them aliens in there, creating the same programming that they create everywhere. And these niggas are all banged up, and then, you know, oh, they don't respect us. Of course, they're not going to respect you, because you have no order in your house in Africa, man. I'm not speaking only about Nigeria, but I'm talking about the whole Africa, man. They all got banged up by doing this religio worship.
Superiority. Some parts of the world has such cultural and economic power that they end up defining normal for everyone else. It is time to widen our ideas of what is normal. In my language, Igbo, the word for love is ifunanya, and its literal translation is to see. It is important to see those about whom we speak. It is important to remember that human beings all share a desire to be valued, a desire to matter. We want our bodies to be nourished. We also want our hearts to be nourished.
Right. Right. Well said. Now, get back to work. Because as long as you continue talking about other people, you don't love yourself. Yeah, you assume other people's culture, you speak other people's language, you sold your land to other people, you don't care about your young people or nothing. Yeah, in this Africa, there's no investment to no young people or not. You're not investing in your land, in your culture. You're investing in what? You're not loving yourself. You're not going to know you in the faith of Christ for the most part. So you got to speak to your people to stop being religious.
We will be unable to understand people if we speak of them only in terms of their need. We must speak of their need because that's important, but also we must speak of what they love, what they resent, what wounds their pride, what they aspire to, what makes them laugh.
Okay, we're gonna get out now. And all you guys need to know, man, is that this poverty is not going away. No matter where you go, you say Africa, but if you write, hold on, if you write Europe, you're going to get, hold on, you're going to get some sad stuff going down. Yeah. There's people poor in Europe as well. It's don't think it's only Africa that is still poor all the time. The curse is worldwide. As long as anywhere you go, there is Religio, there is a poor. You understand that? There is the poor people that suffer and needs help. Anywhere there is Religio, there is poor people that suffer because there is God, there is devil. There is good, there is evil. That's what they worship. So these things are going to be double-faceted into society. But when you get these dummies down there that just worship religion and don't even know their, their origins, that's what you get. Even the whole 90% of the country is poor. They have no education. They all Religio. You know what I'm saying? Rise of poverty in Europe. What's this about? Let's quickly have a look. And the damn ads are still there too.
Brexit is the culmination of a difficult decade for the European Union, because it is becoming more and more obvious that the financial crisis that occurred in 2019 to 2020 led to a significant increase in poverty across the continent. Many people in the Eurozone will be hoping that it does not bring any new economic turbulence. Before we move any further, subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon for more. Not only did the intensity of poverty increase among the countries that were struck the worst during the crisis and required bailouts, but over the course of the past decade, there has also been a significant shift in the geographical distribution of poverty, as well as the forms of poverty that exist in Europe. Greece has been experiencing such a severe crisis that by the year 2013, it had reached a level of poverty that was higher than that of any other member state of the European Union. As a matter of fact, I have discovered through my most recent research that the impoverishment of Greece, Italy, Cyprus, Spain, and Portugal has been so severe that these southern European countries, when taken as a whole, have higher levels of poverty and deprivation than a number of the former communist nations that joined the European Union in 2004. To be more specific, they have been higher than the average of the countries of Slovenia, Slovakia, the Czech Republic, Poland, and Hungary. Poverty can manifest itself in a variety of ways. Based on 3 official measures, the European Union (EU) has set a goal to lift 20 million people out of poverty and social exclusion. These measures are relative income poverty, which occurs when a person's income falls far below what is required to achieve an average standard of living in their country. Material deprivation, which occurs when people lack a set of basic necessities, and living in a household where there is no one working. I incorporated 4 additional measures in my research in order to take into account the complexity of poverty. These measures were as follows. When persons stated that they could only make ends meet with considerable difficulty, when they faced neighborhood problems such as crime or vandalism, when they had bad health, and when they had unmet medical or dental needs but were unable to get them met. I studied the changes that occurred in these 7 aspects of poverty over the course of 4 different time periods: 2005, 2008, 2011, and 2013. So prior to, during, and following the economic crisis,
It never
that followed,
stops, people.
as well as the subsequent recession. Results that are unexpected. Changes of a significant kind can
No
be observed
results.
in the geographical
Stop right
distribution
there.
of
No
poverty.
results are unexpected. This is all done by design, people. All this economy crash, all done by design, and all just.
Hardship in Europe. A significant decrease in the number of people living in poverty across Europe was observed during the pre-crisis period, which lasted from 2005 to 2008. Poland and Latvia, 2 of the world's poorest countries, had the greatest decline in their economic conditions. A number of the member states who were the most impoverished.
So all I'm
during
gonna
these
tell you with all this bullshit, man, is that you have to see this economy is all controlled, it's all regulated, and that's why you got this cycle of peaking a little bit high, then falling everybody all the way low, and leaving everybody living in the streets, then peaking a little bit, then falling low, because it's a game that they play. It's not natural. Yeah, people have copyrights in all this stuff. They do money. They change the price of things every day. They change the price of dollar, price of whatever money. They create, they change, they do whatever the hell they want. So it's not up to nobody. This crisis, they can create them artificially. You don't even, you know, you have no input. It's like when they tell you gotta come to vote, like you're gonna vote. It's only damn people think they're gonna vote on somebody, you know. Because I had this clown
were able to
sending
make
me,
up for lost
you're
ground.
gonna come and vote. Get
Nearly
the fuck out
everyone
of here.
experienced an increase in poverty
don't vote.
during the first phase of the Great Recession, which followed the financial crisis that occurred between 2008 and 2011. It was Greece, Latvia, Lithuania, and Ireland that experienced the most significant rises. However, during the second phase of the crisis, which lasted from 2011 to 2013, the picture became less stable. There was a little decrease in the number of people living in poverty in 10 of the EU's member states, which may indicate that the crisis has finally come to an end.
Never.
However, poverty rates continued to decline dramatically.
This crisis never ever come to an end. Because they can't. They need to destroy you. They need to come up, come down, come up, come down, tell you it's okay now, and then all of a sudden it falls. Because they got to kill you. They got to finish you. To finish your economy is to finish you. Because you have no, as Guy said, they have no resources. They're deprived of resources. So people starve and die when they have no resources to do nothing. They cannot have a house. They cannot plant their own food or nothing. They just woggle around the streets. And probably, you know, they show you in the film, some of them, they kill them. Some of them, they die of hunger and cold. Or bad weather. Imagine living out there in this weather. You're going down. That's what it means.
Portugal and Spain. Cyprus also experienced a similar trend, albeit not quite as much as in the other countries. The European Union and the International Monetary Fund, IMF, provided financial assistance to a number of countries, including Greece, Cyprus, Portugal, and Ireland, which had the most significant increases in poverty.
So you have this big banking system that come around rescuing whatsoever they do, whatever their mess, they come out, clear up the mess, they come rescuing and helping. But then when you think everything is okay, it leads you into another bigger collapse that leaves you with nothing. That's a game they've been playing for centuries, people.
As a result of the austerity measures that were required of these bailout nations, in order for them to be eligible for loans from the European Union and the International Monetary Fund, it may not come as a surprise that they were at the lowest point of the crisis. However, two findings stand out as particular.
The only reason you need their help is because you have no resources, and that's not, you starved from them, and this is not granted to you. So once we get in trouble and there's no food, no nothing, there's nowhere to go, they have to come and give you money. If they don't, what do you think? Most people die. Because they won't have food to eat. They will starve to death. That's all it takes. But you got the giants with keep all the money, and then they can do these operations. They can starve you, they can give you money when you think you need, you know what I'm saying? But they can change the reality and do what they want because you're weak and you can't do nothing by yourself.
Worthy. However, the unsatisfactory performance of the countries in Southern Europe predates the crisis itself.
Bullshit, you know? Come out. We out of that.
These countries, for the most part, did not reap the benefits of the decreases in poverty.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. We out. And I just want you guys to think about this word. This is what I have been showing you guys. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole road is being destroyed by your religion.
The sun is shining,
and your
and people are
falsehood,
seeking out the
and
shade
your
on
belief
benches
system.
beneath the
Because
trees.
you believe things you don't know. You don't know what it is.
Saturday is the day to get married in Moldova, and to have your photo taken in front of the fountain.
Countries.
Couples are promenading
You know what I'm
after the
saying?
ceremonies in the Orthodox Church.
I'm gonna close on this, all right? Because it's time to close. Because you know, I'm just showing to you that the poverty is not only strictly to Africa;
and they
it's
dream
all
about
over the
a happy
place.
future.
Because it's a script. You know what I'm saying?
At Natasha's beauty parlor, the staff are busy.
So that script
The clients
leads
are having
them
their
to
hair
do
done,
these
getting
things that they
manicures
do.
and pedicures.
You know?
The cheapest oatmeal, bread, and milk.
Alina taught herself to sew and gets by as a seamstress. But this has never been officially recorded, so it won't help her to get a proper job. Besides, she's now 44 and too old. During better months, she can make about £10, but that doesn't even cover the gas for cooking.
£10 a month, people. Same like in
They
Africa.
came to our home and switched off the gas because we hadn't paid.
You see how bad it is?
They said that when we had paid, they would turn it back on.
Mm-hmm.
We have other problems because we owe money. My biggest debt is for the elevator. Our block has 9 floors.
I don't want to be, I was just gonna tell you, the whole thing is a plan, and this plan is done everywhere to keep so-called humans in the state of, dampness and a prisoner of the system, and always depending in the system. In the system, the only thing they give them is the damn Religio stuff, and then come around telling them they're saving them when they all have nothing to do. They have no rights to land, they have no rights to own a house, to own nothing, yeah? So when they're dying in the street and they have nothing to eat, then they come around telling you they're going to save the poor, but that is always poor. It never ends. It's part of the damn religion. A religion say that, you gotta be poor. Some guys, they cursed. The God cursed a lot of people. They got curses. If they got curses, they gotta suffer and they gotta go without. That's what they teach. That's it, man. I love you all. Keep the instructions. Peace.